And we are live!
Hi.
Hello!
Hi.
So finally, Sanremo is back on after a year waiting. Really excited. The first night has just finished. We just got the results. Today I am joined by Gianna, Stu, and Samuele. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Ciao.
Ciao a
Buonasera.
tutti. Buonasera.
Ciao a tutti. Gianna, how did you like tonight's show?
Well, I was expecting a little bit more, to be honest. We had so many ballads tonight, but the quality was obviously good as always. Like Sanremo was pretty much the strongest national final we have, and it's not only a national final. We all know that it's like really big in Italy. So yeah, it was still great. I really enjoyed it. Still, I had a few songs I really liked, and I'm really happy about Marco being first on the top because that was a great song in my opinion. But there were also some songs that I did not really like. So yeah, I guess we are going to talk about many songs tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, I do agree that today was really ballad heavy. Although Italy is really good with ballads, but it seemed a little bit slow for Sanremo. What do you think, Stu?
I don't have much of a problem with the show being ballad heavy. I do agree though that there was something that was a little bit off, and like there was certainly something that was very off towards the middle that had nothing to do with one of the participants. But before we get to that, yeah, I think that for me tonight it was like the good songs, they really stood out, and then everything else was kind of so-so. And at least like, talking about a first impression kind of thing, because often what we find is that when you listen to the studio track and then by the time we get to the end of the week, your impressions change about songs. But yeah, I hope my impression changes on some of them, because I really only have, I think, like 4 or so that I'm going to like look at right after I'm done here. But I mean, overall, still like, a high quality when it comes to the type of songwriting that we have. And I would imagine, like at a lyrical level, maybe Samuel could shine some light on that. But overall, I still felt satisfied in some way.
Speaking of, what do you think, Samuel? Did you expect
Yes.
it to be better?
Well, it always comes to actually being acquainted with the songs with Sanremo. We cannot actually have, like, the first impressions are always off for me. Like, I cannot rely on my first impressions for Sanremo, because usually what we get with the orchestra is completely different from what we get pretty much in the studio version for many songs. Because of course I was watching it with a friend of mine that was saying, when you put an orchestra on a dance or a track that usually doesn't rely on the orchestra, of course the song changes. And I'm waiting at, like, I think in like an half an hour the songs will be released. I'm going to wait and see a little bit. Of course, I think that the level, what we expected was really high expectations with this cast. Of course, it is a brilliant cast, I think. And the press already told us like 2 weeks ago that there were a lot of songs about love and ballads. So we already knew it, that this Sanremo was more ballads and love oriented. Okay, so I had high expectations also on ballads, because I know that in Sanremo ballads are usually good, performed by the right artists. Not all ballads are good, of course. But yeah, I had really high expectations, and for me, those who stood up were like 3 or 4 acts maximum at this night. But everything for me, at least, changes during the third night, when we see all the 28 this year lineup again on the stage, because you already acquainted with the songs and you can have a more complete idea about the song. So tonight it was good for me. Also, production speaking, I was expecting something a little bit lower in quality, but the production was, I think, great for Sanremo. And yeah, it was an enjoyable night. Just I expected something different from many artists, and I have to be acquainted with that.
I understand what you mean. I did have some disappointments and also some songs
Surprises
that did better than I expected it to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Say hi to a couple of people. Hello, Hanka. One of the one of the dress Chiara had, oh my god, only in Italy it is possible. Yeah, a great dress. Just in general, a very beautiful woman.
She will join us again on Saturday night for the grand final.
Perfect. Okay, Elodie is always underrated in Sanremo.
Well, not this night. She came second.
Yeah, that's a great result for her. And
Yeah.
I think one thing we should mention too is that one thing that's different about Sanremo this year is that the last round of voting will be a top 5 rather than a top 3. So things could be very different. And as long as you kind of fall in that range, then you have a shot at being the winner of Sanremo and then potentially moving on to Eurovision too.
Exactly. We were expecting, a pretty solid top 5 this night, and I think we had surprises.
Okay, Marco was the best tonight, which
that's why he's the winner.
which he is the winner. So the press agreed with it.
I agree with that.
Me too.
Well, since you agree with it, why don't you start off by telling us how you like the song?
What, me?
Yes.
Okay, so we start. Okay, we start with the songs. Okay, so yeah, Marco, we had a really high expectations with him. Like, of course, we knew him from 2013. He has had great songs all the past 10 years, such incredible hits. It was actually the first one, as I was saying in our TikTok, if you want to follow us on TikTok as well. He actually was the first Italian in winning both the European Best Act in 2010 and 2015. And 2015 was actually a really big year for him because a lot of songs by him were top 10 in Spotify and other streaming platforms. But this night, I think we had really high expectations. And I saw a little bit on Twitter that many people were left down a little bit because of the song. Of course, he's a great vocalist. Tonight proved it. It was impeccable, I think. I think that in general, vocally speaking, the quality is higher than last year, I think. Like, vocally speaking, pretty much everyone was on point. Also, Elodie was on point. Usually her live... No. Stuart.
I'm not talking about Elodie specifically. I just mean in general. I don't particularly agree with that.
Catch these hands.
No, in general, I can assure that I saw, and I follow Sanremo. I've been following Sanremo for like 10 years. I saw a lot of performances, and tonight, not everybody shined vocally, but it was quite all right. It was quite all right, I would say. And I think that Marco was the best vocalist tonight. So we knew that he was a really good vocalist. And yeah, the song, I have to listen to it in the studio version, I have to say. But yeah, I am such a huge Marco Mengoni's fan that I cannot be objective. I think that the song is in line with what Marco did in the last years. And of course, this song, I was expecting something like this because I wanted a song that finally showcased Marco's abilities and Marco's vocals pretty much on the whole range that he has, because he has a beautiful range, a really large range, and this song allows him to do it. So I'm happy. Overall, I think it's my favorite from this night, even if I expected a little bit something different. But yeah, my top 2 was at the end the top 2, so I am really happy.
Happy for you too. So before we move on to other people's opinions, I see a lot of people want to talk about Blanco. We will talk about Blanco, but we want to discuss a couple of songs first. And then we'll move on to the interval acts, to Mahmoud, to Blanco, and everything else. I hope that's okay with you guys.
No, we are gonna spend a little bit here with you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, Jana, what did you think about Marco's song?
Yeah, he really fulfilled my expectations. Like, for me, it was a typical Marco song. It was a power ballad, emotional, and it got really powerful towards the end, especially. I also liked his fragile voice, especially in the beginning. So for me, it was a great song, and he deserved to be the first place. But I'm also wondering always about the meaning of a song, especially in another language. So his title is Due Vite, so I guess it means 2 lives. But he was singing about the moon and the last song, Ultima Canzone. So I'm wondering about the meaning. Samuel, can you explain it a bit?
Yeah, I have to check. If you give me like 2 minutes, I will retrieve the whole lyrics in full. So I have, because I don't remember, like, personally, I just focus on the melody on the first listen, and then when
Melody
I listen
was
it again.
well.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I what I caught from the lyrics was like this meaning of being dual and being divided between two lives, and in general, this references to the moon and the last songs that they did. But yeah, like while we were speaking of the songs, I will retrieve a little bit of the lyrics and I will comment on that if I can.
Perfect. Staying on the topic of Marco, I do agree with Samuel that there was a lot of high expectations for him because he is Marco Mengoni, and basically all of his discography is up to par to all the Sanremo songs that he had previously, and obviously he has won Sanremo before, and he went to Eurovision in 2013. So yeah, I had a lot of high expectations for him, and I'm really happy with the song because it does feel like his song. His voice is beautiful. His stage presence is great. And out of all the songs tonight, I do feel like his song sounds the most like a winner song. Although I did feel like it did not stand out as much because today there were a lot of ballads, and it just felt a little bit the same for a couple of parts. But it's fine. When we hear all 24 songs,
exactly,
it's probably going to stand out that
and
way.
Then when you think that you are going to listen to the studio track or just his performance alone, maybe it will change your opinion. I think I just watched the performance again just before entering the live when it was like a break because they posted it on YouTube, and it was amazing. Within the recap, I understand your point because of course it was really ballady this night, but taken alone, it was just mesmerizing, I would say.
Stu, you're left. What do you think?
I mean, I don't really have much else to add. Like, this was a standout tonight for me. Not my personal favorite, but up there definitely. Like, probably a second or third favorite from what we saw tonight. And yeah, like his voice impeccable. His presence, as other people have said. Yeah, just all the good things have been said. So I don't know if I can really elaborate any further. But certainly, like based on what I've seen, I'd be very happy with this. If it were to win, and then my guess, obviously they haven't really talked about it in detail yet, but my guess is that he would probably want to do Eurovision again if he were to win.
Yes, no, he said it.
He already said? Okay. Well, there you go.
I'm pretty sure it was announced that whoever wins is gonna go to Eurovision, so there's not going to be that
everybody
the thing where they can decline; they have to go.
From what we understood, it was like in the first press conference that today we had, like the first official press conference. The director of Rai, Mrs. Soldi, actually said that as first thing she said, I'm gonna start by saying the last thing, and the winner of Sanremo will go to Liverpool. That has been like the Eurovision Song Contest will be there and has been organized in Liverpool by Ukraine. That's it. So yeah, from what we understood, I don't think Anna Oxa will go, but yeah, in general, what she said resembled to everybody accepted to go to Eurovision if they win.
So does this mean that we can? Does this mean that we can finally call Sanremo a national final?
No, don't you dare! Don't you dare! We already talked about this in my presence.
It's technically.
No. In my presence, Sanremo is not a national final. We're talking about a music festival. Please. Anyway, yeah.
All right. So EC George says that Komakose were great as well. Does anybody agree? Because I do. I believe they were in a previous Sanremo as well.
It was in two Sanremos ago, I think.
2 Sanremos ago, because I do remember them, and I do remember feeling that they had perfect chemistry that didn't feel forced. because a lot of times when there is a duo on the stage, especially when it's a woman and a man, they always try to kind of like play act as if they're in love or something, but with them you kind of like you believe that they like the company of each other, especially with the way that like she was looking at him when he was singing. I was literally melting. Beautiful.
The lyrics
yeah,
are beautiful of that song. The
yeah,
lyrics.
it was a very nice song, and it's one of the songs that I will remember when I wake up.
Same.
I wasn't able to see the whole thing. It was just, it came on when I was out of the room making like a smoothie. But according to my partner, he said that it was one of the best songs of the night. So it's going to be one that I'm checking out after we're done here. And yeah, like you, Lydia, I remember them from 2 Sanremos ago, and I remember really liking their vibe and their style. Not so much their styling, but I like their style as far as their musical style. But yeah, no, that they definitely seem. I believe they did quite well in the press poll too. So probably one to watch. Third or so, third, fourth,
third or fourth.
Yeah, there you go.
I have to say they were one of my least favorite acts this night.
Oh, really?
I love her voice. I think she has a great voice, but I think they didn't really fit together on stage, at least not for this song. It kind of felt a bit awkward, because I know they have great songs like Pakistan, for example. They have really good songs, but this song, I was really not sure about it. I think they could do better. It's my personal
So
opinion.
we have a completely opposite opinion then.
Yeah.
No, that the meaning of the song is pretty clear. It's like they are describing a situation in their own relationship, like a segment of their own relationship in which they were not, understanding each other, and they actually, got a little bit separated. So also the performance was impacted by, not watching each other until the end and something like that. So yeah, the lyrics are really important for this song. I would say that the lyrics in this song are the most important part, and of course, not being in them in Italian, it's a challenge for many people. But yeah, yes. Anyway, I found the meaning of Marco's song, if you're interested.
Okay, let's hear it.
Like there is a website that actually explains the meaning of the songs. And the lyrics and the meaning of the song. So Two Lives talks about a couple that actually feels alone and different from the others. And the track describes their tryout to communicate and the difficulties in doing it. So because they are always not focused on themselves, but on the precious depression and the difficulties of life. That's the meaning of the song.
That's interesting.
Yes, yeah. I did not cry during the performance, but almost.
I had goosebumps, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
All right. We should move on to another fan favorite, Elodie. I believe all of us enjoyed her performance tonight.
100%.
Apart from Jonah, would you like to share your thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting worse tonight. I have different favorites. No, I like the orchestra during her song. I really like that. I think it would be interesting to listen to that song in the studio version as well. I feel like it could sound completely different to a live performance. I like her as an artist. She has some amazing hits. I also loved Andromeda last time. I think I actually prefer Andromeda way more. Yeah, I was too sold on this song. Like, I could not really connect with this song. I was like, okay, I was really hoping that I could connect with this song because I love her. But I was a bit disappointed. So I was like, I don't know. I will listen to it again and maybe it improves.
Listen to it on the studio track. I feel it will be a little bit more modern than what we saw, because like with the trumpets, also Andromeda last year, remember 2 years ago, it was like really 80s, or had something that was a little bit off. But then with the studio track, it was amazing. So I'm going to suspend my judgment up to the point in which I hear the full song. But it was different from what. Sorry, I took the word, but I don't know if there was other people that wanted to say something. It's just that the song by Elodie was completely different from what I think we all expected. Like, for me, it was completely different from what I expected. I was expecting a power ballad mixed up with electronics, and it was on the way around. It started as a ballady a little bit, and then it became more up tempo and more 80s. And I think that this song is quite difficult to sing. It was really difficult for her. I think, like she said, it was really difficult on an interview, and I think she did quite well. But I'm not sure she used autotune this time, because the voice felt really almost perfect in some points and a little bit robotic. So I think that she used a little bit of autotune, and it was the backing vocalist that used something. But yeah, but I am 100% agreeing with Francesca, because in the recap you could really see Elodie stand out, because it was in a portion in which a lot of ballads were concentrated, and then there was this song that was up tempo, and was also the staging was colorful, was pink, was orange, no, yellow, and something like that. And she was so beautiful, so beautiful. I loved her performance so much, because at the first time it threw me a little bit off, because it was not something that I would expect from her. But then I rewatched it again, and it was amazing for me.
I was a big fan of the performance as well, and the song. Like I do think that this is my favorite of the night, and then maybe OLLY is second. But maybe we'll get to OLLY. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact, Samuel, you were kind of teasing us about it, how they described it as not a ballad, not an up-tempo dance song. And I like that it kind of landed in the area of being a little bit kind of like R&B like, you know, be a little funky. And yeah, it just brought a completely different flavor to the stage. And you know, she certainly looked the part, and I think you're right to make the note that she was probably using some auto-tune, because it did sound like a very polished performance. But nonetheless, I wouldn't say that it was being used as a crutch. That
no, it was not
in that way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whereas with OLLY's performance, it was like, I mean, I know it's more about the style, but it's like unmistakable that he's using really heavy auto-tune.
It was not heavy, but you could perceive it a little bit. But yeah, it was. If you remember Andromeda in 2020, that vocals were not the ones that we heard in the studio version. Like, they were completely different. They were not bad, because she usually sings like that. That's what the reason. That's the reason why I felt a little bit, what is happening here? But yeah, it was my close first favorite. I think that Marco and Elodie were my favorites at all. I cannot actually say which one I like the most, but a great performance by her. But she's a performer, so we were expecting something like that.
Yep, I absolutely agree with you on the count of Marco and Elodie being the best ones out of the whole selection tonight. And obviously, I love Elodie. I had her as my winner of Sanremo in 2020. Andromeda is still one of my favorite songs of all time. I absolutely love her, and you know, as they say, I don't know if I want to be her or if I want to be with her, because she's so beautiful, she's so talented. Every single song that I've heard of hers is incredible.
Yes,
it definitely stood out after all of the other songs being ballads before that. And honestly, the second the music started, I knew it was going to be in my top 3 of the night. But to be honest with you, I knew she was going to be in my top 3 of the night when I heard for the first time that she was going to be in Sanremo at all. So
yes.
All right. Anna Oxa used to be the Elodie of the 80s.
Yeah,
she was one of my winners tonight, and she came last. Yeah.
Honestly, I do enjoy like raspy voices, but I'm not sure if the song itself stood out to me. Would you like to share what exactly made you like it?
I mean, for me, it's not really about the song itself, but she kind of made the song alive because of her voice. You talked about the raspy voice. I totally agree, but I love this so much. It really suits her. And I think she could sing every ballad. It would sound amazing because of her unique style of singing. So I think it's about her mostly. She's an amazing artist, and she can make every song great. So yeah.
Do you agree, Stu?
I do. Again, it's gonna be one that I have to revisit and go over. But it was the first of the night, and I remember just kind of being really happy when she came on, because it felt like Sanremo, and maybe vocally it wasn't all the way there. I certainly wouldn't have put her last, but also maybe the Italian press have a bit more insight into the music and the lyrics, and certain things that don't register with them.
But it was
But
not worth the last position. Sorry.
Yeah, you think so?
It was not worth the last position. No.
Yeah. Well, in any case, like, I enjoyed it. Not a favorite, but it was one of the four that I wrote down as far as like notable performances for me. I am hoping that tomorrow brings us a little bit more, like kind of like an overall better quality than what we saw tonight. But nonetheless, yeah, that one I enjoyed.
Samuel?
Yeah, I knew that Anna was a great vocalist. She participated like 15 times or something like that in Sanremo. But little fun fact, she has a lawsuit against Rai. So she's actually, she's not going to deliver any kind of interviews to Rai or to anyone else in Sanremo. She didn't participate to the green carpet last night. She was the only one. So she's like a great diva of this edition. So I think that the press also counted that, also took into consideration that. And the press is really, really picky and really, really cocky sometimes. The same, I think that also the press ranking Ultimo fourth was something like, because of what happened in 2019, and we know it. The press is not mad about, it's not, super, super crazy about Ultimo. But yeah, I think that the press also ranked her so low because of this kind of, air and environment that she created herself around her and around her persona, I would say.
So another surprise of low ranking tonight is gIANMARIA. I just can't understand gIANMARIA 12th place. Really unexpected from the press. I know they usually don't like Gen Z singers, but the song seemed so mature and well produced to me. Honestly, I did expect it to rank way higher than that. It just felt like a song that the press would like. So I am a little bit confused.
She is one of the Sanremo Giovani's winners. So usually those are ranked really low by the press. But yeah, sometimes the press is not really in line with what the spectators from home think, and this is the case, because I think it was a pretty solid performance. The song screams a little bit Eurovision, It's actually, I think, the most Eurovision ready one from this night. I usually don't like, Eurovision ready songs. I usually think that Italy always sends something completely disconnected from Eurovision, and that's why usually Italy is in the top 10, I think. But yeah, it was a great. I think he has charisma. He did an outstanding performance for his age. He was really nervous. I could feel it. But the song in itself, I think it's even better than the one that he brought in Sanremo Giovani. And it reminded me a little bit of what he brought to the X Factor, because it was the runner-up of the X Factor 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And in that kind of environment, he usually brought this kind of music, this kind of, really pop and electronic, mixed with electronic music. I think it was a great song. I have to listen to it again, but I think it was a pretty good song, and I expected it to be low as maybe other Giovanni. I think I don't remember the one from the Giovanni that actually got higher. Someone got higher, I'm sure. But usually the Giovanni are really ranked low, except for some exceptions, like, for example, Mahmood that won 2019.
Yep. Do you like the song, Jana?
I think it's very modern, but also very Italian at the same time. So I do agree with Samuele. It's very interesting. I could see this at Eurovision. I mean, I would need a revamp, I think, because it doesn't stand out as much as it should probably. But I think it's a cool song, and I found it really interesting. I mean, it was second song already, so the running order was maybe not too good for that song. Maybe that's also why he ranked so low. I don't know, but I think he's a really cool artist, really interesting. And I also think the studio version could sound really cool because we only heard the live now, but I think studio would be interesting as well. And the chorus was really unexpected. Like we had the verses all the time, and then suddenly this chorus started. I was like, wow, okay. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Do you agree, Stu?
So the thing is, I am having a hard time remembering how the song sounds. Like I remember the overall style, but yeah, apart from that, I remember like how he looks and all that. But it's just gonna have to be another one to revisit. And I feel like maybe the fact that this year there's more songs than there are typically is maybe a contributing factor to that. There's just a lot to consume, and that there is also a lot of like kind of meh feeling ones so far. So I don't know. Yeah, TBD is where I'm at on that.
Yeah, Eurovision wise, like if we have to think about Eurovision, with Sanremo is like that. We just cannot actually consider the performance with the orchestra because it's kind of a different kind of setting. We need to listen to the studio track in order to give a full idea and a full conception of the song of what we will see in Eurovision, because in Eurovision we will not see the orchestra version, we will see the studio version, like the bass will be the studio version. So yeah, I think I personally need to listen to all the songs in full at least once or twice in the studio version to give a really total idea of what I think about the songs. And right now, I think we are just commenting the performance overall and the first impressions. So yeah.
Well, I know that we already talked about a couple of songs, but there are a couple of songs that we have not mentioned yet. And what I want to know is, Stu, do you have a song that stood out to you that we have not mentioned yet?
The ones that I have written down, we've all talked about in kind of like varying degrees. So the only one that we haven't really talked about in detail is OLLY's, which I remember just really liking the vibe of it and how it was quite fast, and again there was a lot of auto-tune on it, which kind of takes you out of the performance. But yeah, like it was enjoyable, and that's going to be one that I'm going to listen to pretty soon after this.
I actually think the autotune sounded really good in the chorus. I really enjoyed the way it sounded like. In the verses, though, not much of a fan, but it did stood out to me too, and I do remember how it goes still, so that's a good thing. What do you think, Samuele?
Actually, OLLY's performance was the only one that I did not catch because I was driving home. So yeah, because I was watching with a friend, and I just put right play on while I was actually driving, and when I put right play in the car, OLLY just finished, so I was not able to watch it, but I will.
What about you, Jana?
Yeah, I found it interesting because it was like the first real up-tempo song of the night, and it was one of the last songs, so that says a lot. I found the beginning very interesting with the other microphone. Like he had a different voice, also because of the autotune. He was using a bit too much autotune in my opinion, even though it's his style. I appreciate that, but I didn't like the autotune in the falsetto parts, for example. That was just too much for me. I don't know, but it's a cool song. It's very modern as well, like gIANMARIA's song. So yeah, I can see him doing well in the future. I mean, he's quite young, I think.
He did seem very young.
And OLLY closed up, unfortunately, 13th. So
yeah,
that's pretty
yeah,
low.
I know. The Sala Stampa is always like that. We can rely on the Sala Stampa for the good songs, but for the ones that are really appealing to the spectators, in many cases the Sala Stampa rank is so low.
Okay, so Samuel, this is a question for you. Does anyone know if OLLY is English? Because he has an English flag in his Twitter bio.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
How could you? I thought you knew everything about
this. Because the fact is that this year in December I did not have time to watch Sanremo Giovani at all. I just watched the final night, and I don't know much on the Giovanis, apart from Gianmaria and Shari a little bit, because they are the pretty known one. But the others are completely unknown to me. So yeah, I know a lot about Sanremo in general, and about many other contenders and many other artists, but not the Giovanni. I'm sorry, just Gianmaria. I know pretty much because I've been knowing him since like 3-4 years.
Okay, we will read up on that then later and get back to you. Okay, I see people are very have been waiting patiently for us to talk about the Blanco moment.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, would you like to tell us what happened?
I don't know. Like we know that we cannot predict what he usually does on the stage. It's not predictable. But from what I understood, his in-ears did not work. Okay, so he could not sing pretty much half of the song. So irrationally, he was already throwing a little bit of roses because L'Isola delle Rose was his last single. So thank you, Vincent. So the Isola delle Rose was his last single, and in his music video, like actually for emphasizing the meaning of the song, he ripped like a bush of roses. Then on the Sanremo stage, he was meant to do the same thing, but in the end he didn't hear, so he got frustrated a little bit because of course he's really young as well. So he got really frustrated, and he started actually not just to destroy the roses, but also to kick the vases, and he broke the vases with all the the dirt and stuff all on the stage. It was amazing for me. It was the coolest moment on live TV in Italy. So yeah, it was a great moment for me. I was laughing so hard. I was cringing because of course Sanremo gives us a lot of memes, and this time this night gave us a lot. So I don't think it's so stupid, and don't think that this part did not work. The roses were there and were they were meant to be destroyed, but not the vases. Not the vases. Of course, later during the confrontation with Amadeus, he was telling, "Oh yeah, I was just having fun." Of course, I could not perform, so I was just having fun. But yeah, you could perceive that he was not happy. So yeah, I could sense that it was something off. But a lot of people also on Twitter, Italian people, were not just understanding what was happening because they were thinking it was part of the performance. Okay, and at the same time, I was thinking it was a part of the performance because in the first portion of the song, it was actually ripping the roses apart. And later on, he started to just destroy the vases. So I was just thinking it was like the growth of the performance, But at the end, it was not like script because Amadeus knew it, that he had to rip the roses, but not that he had that he wanted to like just destroy the stage. Because in the end, they had to change a little bit of the schedule because they had to, clean up the stage. And it was this iconic moment with Gianni Morandi that was
Yeah. And it's like let's just think about that, because obviously Blanco has been a young artist who has emerged as one of Italy's like biggest artists lately, and that your kind of tantrum, I understand that like he was like upset but not upset, like trying to turn it into something more entertaining for him, but that your tantrum causes a legend to have to clean up after you, like how dare you,
Yeah, like wait, Samuel, does that mean it was planned? For what I understood, because I don't know, for what I understood, he was meant to rip the roses apart, but it was not meant to completely destroy the stage.
I couldn't imagine any television production planning something like that, because
Exactly.
everything came to a halt, right? Like, I know it's Sanremo and it's long and we expect it to have these really like long stretchy parts, but yeah, I don't think that it was. I could see why people might think that it was planned, but just based on how everything unfolded, I don't think it was. And if it was planned, the entire audience was booing anyway, and they booed for like 5 straight minutes. So way to go.
I just hope that this does not impact completely Blanco's career, because he's such a good artist, and pretty much every song made by him go viral and are really streamed. he's really great in Italy. So I just don't want him to just ruin our reputation because of this fact. I know it was impulsive. I know it was bad. It was a bad television moment, I think. Even if for me it was great, but it was bad. But, no, the best thing was just
Eurofans living for drama. Wow, what a surprise!
Also, I'm not sure if I understood correctly, but Amadeus was talking to Blanco, and I think he said he's not allowed to perform at Sanremo ever again. Is that true?
No, I didn't.
No?
I didn't hear something like that.
Okay.
When did you hear?
No, when he was talking to Blanco.
Amadeus was talking to Blanco and asked him to perform again later.
Yeah, that's right.
During the
that's.
night.
But you know what? You know what I did hear? You know what I did pick up on? I did hear him drop Bugo y Morgan.
Bugo y Morgan.
And then talking about how it's like the Bugo in Morgan moment of this year, which that in itself was epic.
Amadeus was just saying that after Bugo and Morgan, they are ready for pretty much everything. So
okay.
For those who don't know, basically Bugo and Morgan actually like had I don't know. Morgan actually threw shit on him on Bugo.
He insulted him through. He insulted his duet partner through song on stage.
Actually, he changed the lyrics of the song in order to insult Bugo, and then Bugo went away, and Amadeus actually told that he searched for Bugo in all Sanremo during the night.
That was such an iconic moment. I remember that.
It was iconic, of course, and from that moment on, Amadeus is pretty much ready for improvise on the Sanremo stage. As we saw this night, he just improvises. He created, like Chiara Ferragni created an Instagram account for him, and in 20 minutes, he reached 600,000 followers.
Wow.
He's a legend.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true. It's true.
This is the first I've heard of it.
But Morgan is like that. Morgan participated in Amici di Maria De Filippi, that is like this big talent show in Italy, is even bigger than X Factor, and was kicked out even from them there. He was not invited back in X Factor when he was a judge. He's just I think that he's a genius, but he's an artist. He's a genius artist. He's like that. He does it because he's kind of different from everybody else, and he's a genius. He's a musical genius. He knows pretty much everything about music. He won X Factor as a judge for like 4 editions or something like that. So I think he's a genius. He's a complete genius. But on stage, I don't know. Like he's completely crazy. But we're not talking about Morgan here because it was like in 2020, 2021,
yeah.
2020.
I believe.
It's already 4 editions with Amadeus. And I love him so much. He's going to be with us also next year. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. So we have given the audience what they wanted. Now, let's continue on talking about the songs that we have not talked about yet. Gianna, is there a song that you really like that we have not mentioned yet?
Not sure about really like, but I found Alba by Ultimo interesting because I don't know if you noticed, but when he was singing about Brividi, he also had actual goosebumps. No, I found that really funny. It was an emotional ballad, but for me, it took way too long to build up. So I was like, okay, is there something coming? And then in the end, it got really good. It had a great ending, but it took too long. That was my problem. But interesting song.
Okay, so I do enjoy Ultimo's music. I do think that this song sounded pretty much like him. I really like the way that he kind of has that draws. He has a particular style of singing when he vocalizes, when he draws out the words, which I really like. It's kind of like you always know that it's him because he does that. The song was good, but good in a way that it's just like it's an Ultimo song, and that's about it. So I can't really like compared to even his 2019 attempt. Was it I tuoi particolari or something?
I tuoi particolari, yes.
Yeah. Now that song was actually my favorite song of that year, and it stood out very much. I absolutely adored it. This year, 50-50. What do you think, Stu?
Yeah, it didn't stand out that much for me. The thing that stood out, and I mentioned this in the chat, was that it was funny knowing the background and how he caused drama for losing in favor of Mahmood. But in the song that he's bringing now, he sings about brividi, and it does like a long stretched note. So it almost feels like I'm probably reading too much into it, but it almost feels like it was like an intentional dig. But anyway, yeah, again, I'll have to listen to it again. It didn't grab me that much, but I'm also not as familiar with his music, so I can't really speak to like how it compares to some of his other stuff.
All right.
I don't have
Samuel?
much. I don't have much to say about it. What, like, it's not one of my favorite artists. I cannot do it. Like, I try to listen to his music, but I just completely adore one of his songs that is called Pianeti. I love that song. I think you should listen to it. But apart from that, I don't want to be bitchy because I'm not that. But he's just always, like in Italian we say è sempre la stessa minestra. Is always the same soup, because always brings completely the same. Like if I have to compare this song to the song he brought in 2019, pretty much the same elements, and pretty much is like he sang the song pretty much in the same way he sang the song in 2019. I liked the song in 2019. Of course, Lydia, you're talking with me and Stu that in 2019 we're completely with Mahmood, with our hearts, with our bodies, with our heads, with everything. So
with our bodies.
I honestly, after pretty much like an hour after Mahmood won, I changed my mind. I mean, obviously because of the way Ultimo reacted, but also just kind of like listen to it more.
No, because I think you felt it in your body, you know, Mahmood.
I felt it. I felt it so much.
You felt it so much in your heart, most of all. So yeah, no. Apart from joking and 2019 aside, this song is just what Ultimo always makes, and pretty much all of his fans are like, "Wow, that's amazing! That's super good!" Again, I loved it. Yes, it was a great song. It was for me a good song. Yes, it could be the same. It could be good, but yeah, like for me, it's just always the same thing. And his voice is good. The songs are good, but it's always nothing new for me. So it doesn't grasp my attention that I don't even remember pretty much the song. I just remember the performance and visually what I saw, but I don't remember the song. I have to re-listen to it in order to give a much more detailed perception. But I think that what Ultimo needs to do is just reinvent himself a little bit, as Marco does. Marco does changes in his music. We heard pop music, we heard ballads, we heard dancey stuff from Marco. Elodie did the same. She did ballads, she did everything. But it was, say simple, it was boring. Yeah, I am Italian, so I have to be, I have to talk a lot. I don't know. It's just me. But yeah, it was always the same soup. Yeah, that's what I think.
I understand what you mean. It does sound like a lot of his other songs.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like other songs by him. But yeah, listen to Pianeti because it's beautiful.
All right. A question for the panel. Did we hear a potential Eurovision winner tonight?
No.
I'm going to go and say no. Yeah. I mean, great songs, but
yeah,
it's, in my opinion, it's one of the weakest editions we've had so far. But if we talk about a Sanremo winner, Marco could very much win it this Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, it is also the first night, so we also have another half of the songs to get tomorrow. So I wouldn't go so far as saying that it feels like a weaker year. But I mean, if tomorrow is like today, then yeah, I guess that would sadly be the case.
I just think it's. I just think I can. Of course, I'm Italian, so I'm subjective. But yeah, it was not the strongest beginning. It was just that with Sanremo, we just start by saying this song is meh, the other song is meh, and at the end we love them. So it's just hearing them in studio version and then confront them during the nights. There is also the duet nights that also changes a lot of people's opinions about the song, about the performances and the artists. So that should be taken into consideration as well. But yeah, I'm just not ready to say that. Ciao. I'm not just ready to say that this year is weak, because we still need to listen to other 14 songs again, and then we are going to the playlist with the first 14 songs is already out, so we can listen to them. I'm going to listen to them now when we finish. But yeah, tomorrow now we have great artists as well. I'm looking here. We have pretty good artists as well. We have the comeback of Colapesce di Martino. We have Madame. We have Levante. We have Tananai. We have Paola e Chiara. we have Georgia. We have a lot of good artists as well tomorrow. Maybe tonight we had high expectations because we had the most favorites ones to win. We have Marco, we had Ultimo, we had Elodie. They were the most favorites, also in the top 5 around that area. But yeah, I just think I don't feel ready to say it was weaker, because I just have to listen to it in the studio version. But yeah, as first perception, yes, it was a little bit. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Nothing to say about how do you pronounce that, Samuele?
Cugini di Campagna. Literally
Campagna. The sounded way better than what people imagined, and the singer sang with full voice instead of sounding okay, like another songs of the band.
So these were the glittery guys with the guitars,
yes,
right?
Okay.
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I couldn't really take the song seriously, because their stage presence and the outfits it just looked like something straight out of the Eurovision movie.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a caricature in a way. But honestly, in general, the song really kind of it woke me up after a lot of ballads. So yeah, I did enjoy it quite.
Did you grasp were the writers of the song?
I did not.
La rappresentante di lista.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh.
I love them.
Actually, another fun fact. La rappresentante di lista wrote the song. They didn't want to use it for Sanremo because rumors say that they will go with San Marino this year. So they actually just took the song, sent it to Amadeus, and just told him, Amadeus, you can do whatever you want with that song. Give it to whoever you want. And Amadeus gave it to the Cugini. I can't. I just don't know what the La Rappresentante was thinking while watching the performance, because honestly I think it was a great song. It was not a great song. It was a good song made for performance. For a performance. We need La Rappresentante in every Sanremo. I agree. Yeah.
Me too.
I would welcome that.
But yeah, if they go with San Marino, I'm okay. I'm okay with that as well.
Like Lettera.
But in San Marino there is Lettera and her sister, and they ate each other.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, but they kind of gave me Italian ABBA tonight. I don't know why. When I saw them there in the outfits, I was like, okay.
No,
it's
but
not the outfits from the 80s, but the song itself more 70s. So
the
yeah,
Italian ABBA is Pooh. The band that actually sung for 15-20 minutes is the Italian ABBA.
God, that went on forever.
It was forever. I actually muted the stream because I couldn't care. Like I love some of them of their songs, but it was so long. Like medley was infinite. I'm glad Marco was first, and high is like a good wine, become better and tastier with the age. Like the song, you mean?
I think he means his song, or maybe.
I think both.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
But yeah, guys, please, everything was okay with Marco, but that outfit is a big no for me.
Everyone, I liked it.
I like it too.
Everyone was leather addicted this night. Everyone actually wear leather or latex.
But
Elodie
you know,
is
it gave me kind of, firstly when he came on, I was like, wow, he really looks like Freddie Mercury. And then even with the way he was singing, it sounded a little
Kind
Freddie
of.
Mercury to me. So I'm
No,
totally okay with that.
Elodie look-wise was the best one. It was like a
I
panterona.
agree. Yes.
We say in Italy we say panterona. It's like a big panther.
She's like,
Yeah, she was beautiful.
Panterona is beautiful, guys. Use it. Panterona is tremendous. Everyone in Twitter was saying panterona.
Okay, so we are nearing a 1 hour mark, and I think we should
Yeah.
wrap it up. But before we do, I think we should just go around and say what our favorite performance of the night was and who we're looking forward to for tomorrow's show. Jana?
for me, it was Marco and Mr. Rain. I think we didn't talk about him, but I liked the performance.
We can spare a couple of seconds for Mr. Rain.
Mr. Rain. I love that.
For tomorrow, definitely Madame for me.
Yeah. No,
Go
go
ahead.
on, Stu. Go on. No.
I like Mr. Rain. I'm again gonna have to listen to it again, but it was pretty early in the show, and I remember enjoying the performance and kind of the melody of the song. My favorite from tonight was Elodie, and the one that I'm looking forward to most for tomorrow is Madame. Probably there might be another one that I'm forgetting, but definitely excited for Madame.
Maybe Colla Pesce di Martino.
Oh yeah, that would be another one too.
Yeah. No, Mr. Rain, I think he has one of the most enjoyable songs. I think it was pretty much really cute. Something that I was expecting from him, because he's a rapper, but at the same time he's really gentle. He's a pure soul for me. So I was expecting something like that. The press already told us that he was going to have kids on stage, and when you have kids on stage in Sanremo, in Italy we say this is a paraculata, so something that you do because you know that is going to appeal to everybody. It's a paraculata. It's a little bit paraculo. Culo means, yeah, you know what it means. Okay. And para, defend the culo. Okay. That is literally what it means. I know, guys. I love.
We also educate you here at Eurovox, which is why you should subscribe to the channel.
I really love to talk about Sanremo because I can use my own words and my language, So if you hear, I'm using a lot of my accent. Is terrible. So anyway, it's a paraculata. So when you see kids, you say, "Oh, cute! I'm gonna vote for this. I love it." Like the grannies will love it. My mother loved it. I loved it as well. But I think that song-wise, it was cute, but not surprising. It was really good, Love you, Francesca. So yeah, it was great. My favorites for the night, I cannot just have one. It's Elodie and Marco Mengoni. And then for tonight, it will be Madame and Colla Pesce di Martino. Maybe Tananai as well. And
Tananai.
Tomorrow. And Paola e Chiara. But you don't know them. It's a duo from the 90s. It was iconic. It was like the mothers of Italian disco music in the 90s. They were really mothers, like Paola e Chiara. They are sisters. It's a duo from tomorrow night. They say that like the press is screaming Eurovision alert, but I don't know. I think it's like when the press says Eurovision alert, it's usually trashy in Italy. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully it won't be the case tomorrow then.
No, please.
Okay, for me, my favorite would be Elodie and Colla Zio, who we have not actually mentioned, but I really enjoyed their song. Definitely the most upbeat song of the evening, and it really made me want to just kind of abandon everything and go party with them. Great guys. And tomorrow I'm definitely looking forward to Tananai and to Levante.
Oh, Levante as well.
Levante as well, yeah. Okay. There are many good artists
tomorrow we have quite some names, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of names. I am excited for it.
Yeah, I thought tonight was the best that we could have, but in reality, if you think about it, tonight we had like 4 or 5 really good names, but tomorrow they are maybe, less important names, but a little bit spread out. I don't know how to specify, like to explain. It was like they are good names, but they are more good names than tonight. Tonight there were exceptional names and others that were not really known or not really famous. Tomorrow is a little bit more balanced, I think. I don't know. I have this kind of impression.
I am, based on the list that we have, I am really excited to watch tomorrow's show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right, guys. Thank you for joining us. I am really happy to see you, all of you being active in the chat. It really
there are a lot
makes
of
our
people.
work easier. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If you have not done so yet, please subscribe to our channel. We are planning on going live after every single night this week. So if you would like to support us for abandoning our sleep schedules, subscribe and just join us after all of the evenings, including the duets
Mm-hmm.
and the full songs on Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah, Wednesday will be like this, pretty much the same lineup of the final. It will be pretty much the same as the final. So we will hear the 28 songs in full. 28.
There's quite a lot of songs.
Listen, and let me just say very quickly, a bad year for Sanremo. If it is, we're not saying that yet, but if it were to be, it would still be better than a good year for certain other selections.
Yeah. No. But yeah, like
Yep.
I think that at the end it will be mid, because I just have this kind of idea that if we listen again to the songs, I think we will appreciate them more. But it's always like
As
that
always.
with Sanremo. I think that last year we said pretty much everything that we said this year about the songs. Last year we were not like this tragic, but last year I remember we were like, I don't think there are a lot of good songs, and then at the end in the final we love them. So I just think it's like just a first impression, and it's different from when you like other selections in Europe that you have like the songs in advance for about like 2 or 3 weeks. It's just a different kind of approach. So and that's it's why Sanremo for me is interesting to watch as well, because you don't know what you're going to see or what you're going to hear. So yeah, we're going
So we
to
should
see.
rest up for the coming nights.
Exactly.
Yeah, we definitely should. I also want to mention that we cover other national finals. We know Sanremo is not national final, but it is easier to say it this way. So if you're interested in Eurovision in national finals, we are covering every single thing connected to Eurovision. This Saturday is going to be really busy. It's going to be how many songs? 5 songs, I believe. Are going to be
7.
7 songs. Are going to be up.
Yeah, but we are going to be the last ones. 3
Of
a.m.
course.
As always.
On Saturday we're gonna watch for you the press conference in which we are going to see if 100% the winner of Sanremo will go to Eurovision. So we are going to be with you during the press conference. So at 3 a.m. basically, 3 a.m. and
We are used to that by now,
time.
so it's fine. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Gianna, to Stu, and to Samuele for being here with me today. And thank you so much, Vincent. We we appreciate that. We see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Arrivederci. Ciao.